welcome to this second video of this channel. Today we're going to discuss a trade that I took on gold last week where 3 take profits have been hit. So a very profitable trade for me, and I think it's very insightful and nice if we are going to discuss with you guys. If you have some questions afterwards, drop it in the comments. Let's get back on the charts. We have now the daily chart for gold, and we can see that over here we created a range. This box was a range and we broke out of that range over here, and we can see that since the 20th of August we have been trending very hard without letting any entries coming to us. So I was looking for some sort of consolidation with a high probability break of structure where we could enter. So we need to look on a lower time frame, because on the daily we're not gonna get any entries. So for the 4 hour we can also see we don't get a lot of retracement. Over here we got a little retracement, but over here when price is again trending bullish, we can see that we are a little bit consolidating. Price is slowing down, and that's where we need to get an entry. Now for this 1 hour time frame where price is slowing down, price is coming on Monday over here, and the whole week till Friday is a bit of range forming. And what we can see over here in this purple box is very interesting. Why? Over here we got a fake break of structure. What does that mean? This low over here sweeps nothing important. It doesn't tag into a important liquidity pool, but we can see that the high that brings us to that low is being broken, and people are starting to long because they think it's a valid break of structure. But we know that fake break of structures are engineering liquidity below this low over here. We can also see that this low is getting taken out by this low over here. That low is getting taken out eventually by this low, and now this is where the interesting part is coming. If we break above this high, because this high brings us to this lower low, we have a high probability break of structure. Why? Because this low is tagging into a important liquidity pool, because this fake break of structure is engineering liquidity underneath this low. And as we can see later on that week, it got swept again by this low over here. So now we need to look for the high that brought us to that low, to this lower low, because that high is significant to break. And if we break that high, we have a entry. And as we can see, the high is being broken over here. And we can only enter with a trade when a candle is opening and closing above. So as we can see over here, if we zoom in, this candle is opening under, closing above. So this candle is opening and closing above. But I did want to get a better entry. So I looked for a better entry and we got it. Over here, we can see a lot of lows aligning. And what I often do is when like this, 4 lows are aligning, I'm looking for the first 2 lows to get taken out. So I placed my entry on the second low. As you can see, that low got swept with a beautiful reaction, and we got to put our stop loss underneath this lower low, because that is a significant low to hold. Why? Because this high got broken, and you can see that we got a very nice reaction of sweeping those lows over here. So the next part is, where are we going to place our take profits? Because we need to take profit of this trade. This trade can't run forever. So now we're gonna look for some take profits. As we can see, and often what I do is look for big wicks that need to get filled, and especially wicks that were created by news. And as we can see over here, this big wick to the upside on the 1 hour is a news wick. And what I often do, and what price is often doing, is filling those big wicks entirely, but more often for 50%. So if we take 50% of this wick, that's where I want to take profit for the first time. And also if we look at the R that is providing us, you can see it's above 2R, and that's what I need. That's the minimum what I need for my system. So this was my first take profit. But if we zoom out a little bit, we can see on the 4 hour that we are in price discovery. What does that mean? We are over here going into an all-time high zone in price discovery mode. That's where price has been never been. So we're making all-time highs, and we have no history of candles where we can base our take profit on. So what I often do is I take my standard deviation levels from the low over here to the low over here, and as we can see is that often price comes into this box over here between the -2 and the -2.5. After that breaks a little bit down and goes for the -4. So my second TP was right over here, just above the -2, and that one got also hit very nicely. And what I just said is when price is coming in between that -2, -2.5, often what we can see is price coming down, and then after a little bit of consolidation, price moves up to the -4. And that's also where I went completely out of my trade and providing me with a 15R trade. Of course, not a full 15R because we took profit along the way. Also nice to see that this -4 level is aligning with a psychological level of 4K. And if we look at the 1 hour chart, here is where I got my third TP I met. So this was the second video on my channel. It was a trade recap of gold. I hope you guys learned a lot of it. If you don't and still have some questions, you can drop a comment down below and I will answer them. If you like the video, you can always like. If you want to see more of this content, you can always subscribe and maybe look at the links under this video and join Tribe Capital, where I'm 24/7 trading for you guys. Alright guys, this was it. Ciao, ciao.